Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're so glad to have you with us today. Doing this again is something that we love doing, right?
Oh yes, man. Do we ever?
Yeah. So, we got another great show lined up for you. Of course, we're going to have beats by yours truly, music industry news, and a very, very special interview with Rebekka Ling joining us from Amsterdam. So, it's another international show, and we love doing this and connecting with talented individuals all over the planet.
Rebekka.
Yes, we know you're going to love it. So, all right, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this music break by yours truly.
afternoon, evening, morning to all of our listeners one more again. And right now, I am just honored with this information I'm about to share with you right now. Joining us from many, many miles away across the water is the young lady who is blazing her own trail in her own way. And she is totally into music and totally into happiness. And so joining us right now on the show is the one and only Miss Rebekka Ling. Rebekka, are you with us?
Hi all.
Hi.
Thank you. Yes, I'm here. How's everybody doing? Thanks for the wonderful introduction. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got some international flavor, huh? Okay, we'll take it.
European and Asian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully my English will be all right and understandable for everyone.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes, it's just fine and dandy. And so I tell you what, I got some questions already. But ladies first, we're gonna let Achickwitbeatz have the first question.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's just start from the beginning. Who is Rebekka Ling? Tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got into music.
Yes. I was born in Holland, in the north of Holland, and I grew up in a musical home. My parents both come from Indonesia, and they moved to Holland about almost 40 years ago, I think. And they got introduced to a small church, and they both already, like my dad plays drums, guitar, and my mom sings, or she used to sing a lot. And they were very involved in church activities and different events, choirs, and so actually I grew up listening a lot to gospel music, but also a lot of not only soul music, jazz, but also like the Beatles and like the great legendary bands, Carpenters, also a wide range of music genres. So music was always a natural part of my life, and I come from a big family, like 5 children in total, and everybody plays an instrument or sings. So it wasn't something very. It was just a natural part of growing up, and so I started in different choirs, and later on, quite early, I started in different bands, so school bands, and later on, I actually noticed that really singing was my passion, because I did different instruments, also flute, but I noticed like singing I felt the most close to my nature to express myself. Like I was very shy when I was young, and I noticed when I was in my own world singing and practicing, then I felt the most powerful, so to say, or more, like in my own world. So, and later on it got more serious. So I moved to Amsterdam to study at the conservatory, and I used to do a lot of backing vocals for different artists, and like in the jazz and R&B scene. And during conservatory, I started writing my own material with musicians, and slowly I moved more to the front. So creating is really it's what I love to do the most. So writing my own material, own songs, and that's it. Actually, that's how it started. And I have one debut album, Travel Light, which is on all the streaming services, and you can still download it. And after that, I released different music, like singles and different collaborations. And I'm working on new material. So end of this month, actually, there will be new music as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now you said so many positive things in that opening statement. The first thing that comes to my mind I want to comment on is a question. Actually, so when you say you moved to Holland and so forth, now I'm thinking there are just fields and fields and fields and fields of tulips. Am I right or wrong?
Well, actually, I was born in Holland, but my parents they moved from Indonesia to Holland. So yeah, there's lots of tulips and beautiful like country. The countryside is, but it's a small country, you know, and we have you should see it for yourself one day. But it's so much, it's way different than America, of course. We don't. It's quite flat, but it's beautiful. It's a nice country. It is. It has a
Well, I brought up tulips because tulips happen to be one of my favorite flowers. Okay, so I think,
wow,
oh man, wow. Okay, and then secondly, you mentioned concerning your parents in the church and you in the church and doing different activities and so forth and singing in various choirs and so forth. But then see you alluded to listening to a little gospel music and so on and so forth. So many artists have that gospel in their heart. So many artists have that gospel in their past. Okay, and so as they start getting a little older, that gospel is some strong and delicious stuff, to me.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and also because you sing music that always has a message, so you're always aware of you have to really deliver it and. But of course, other influences back then were Whitney Houston, of course, and but Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye. So of course, it evolved to more Stevie Wonder. But I always, because I know I'm not really. I do have kind of my own sound in a way, because of course I don't sound like a how do you say, like a soul diva or something. It's quite mellow. It's my style.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well,
you said correction.
But me.
So no, there's nothing but greatness. Nothing but greatness for you.
Thank you.
So I mean, I'm just happy. We are both happy that you are with us. So,
and I actually think it's pretty interesting with every single artist that you name. They all started in the church as well. So it's kind of funny how that just sticks to you and it comes out no matter what genre you're singing.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
And another thing I noticed that stood out to me when you were singing, you basically said you kind of found your voice. You felt your strongest then. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about, how that made you feel once you discovered, like, hey, this is definitely what I have to do. This is who I am.
Yeah, what for me is most important, or one of the important factors, is to always. It's not always that the songs are super happy or super up tempo or anything, but that there's some sense of a feel of hope, or of we're talking now lyric wise, of course, but how it felt, how I discovered my own style. Because I used to really sing with a kind of power voice, really strong, and I could do that, but I noticed I was just imitating a lot, and which is also fine in the beginning, of course. And I found out that actually to sing more close to more kind of intimate with a softer voice, or more speaking voice, like D'Angelo, for example, is also one great example, great inspiration for me. And I noticed that then the character of my voice comes more across the sound. And so I work with, for instance, my bass player, producer, and a drummer, and we experimented quite a lot with what kind of songs, what kind of compositions, and I think the combination of jazz and sometimes electronic music with my mellow vocals and a lot of harmonies is also important. That we found out that works really well for the songs I write.
Beautiful.
I hope I answered
that's
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So, but that gives, like, you don't have to because of course I'm impressed with any amazing like gospel singer or like a powerhouse, vocalist. But I noticed, I could do that, but I think my strongest points is where I'm just delivering the message and don't do too much, ad-libbing or just the music, the whole composition is important, not just my voice. Or so it's it's kind of a palette of sounds.
Beautiful. I love that palette of sounds.
Well, the descriptive words that you're using, they point right to you being an artist, a singer, and I can feel that just in hearing the conversation. You're speaking in terms of composition of your voice and things of that nature. So, so now, at what age were you? Whether you're a teenager or in middle school, or when did you know that?
Wow.
Hey,
exactly.
Share
I think it was it was quite early. We were listening a lot to like vinyl, records. Also musical, a lot of musical, like Annie or Sound of Music, which are, the music is excellent. And I noticed I used to practice it. I think I was 6, 7. I used to repeat the songs and just go, practice, and just, it made me so happy. So that was, but still I chose the instrument. I played flute and a little bit keys. But I noticed, hey, I'm becoming better, But I think middle school is like what age? It's like 10.
Yeah.
No, it's
12.
Yeah. I had a group with my sisters, and we used to like perform with dancing, singing, and even some little theater performances. And we were always into creating and arranging songs and performing for different talent shows or events. And so I was always part of a group. I wasn't necessarily the soloist or the front singer, but I was always I was always interested in creating something together quite young. And later on I found out, like, I have an own story to tell.
Okay. Now I gotta throw this in there. Now, you mentioned talent shows. Okay, so now I know that the talent shows, if there were no talent shows in this world, the world would be at a loss. But share with our listeners just what it was like when you started getting in the talent shows in the beginning, but then after you started getting used to them. How did they make you feel when they say, well, here's a talent show, let's try to get involved with the talent show, and how did you feel after you became a fan?
Well, I only did a few. I didn't do that many, but it's like I think I would never go do a TV talent show. That's a whole different thing, because then it's of course about television, making television, and it's not that the singers aren't great or anything, but talent shows in itself is good to set to see what standard you have, or what you have an ambition to really go for your, for to deliver a show or a product, and to work on that. That is like, and if you then, it gives a sense of like, hey, I work towards something, and you get some recognition. But in the end, of course, it's if you believe in yourself, if you know what you have to offer, then you don't need a talent show. You will always find an audience that will resonate with the songs or with the stuff you bring out into the world or the music you create. So talent shows are because I teach also teenagers, like young talent, and it's amazing. I mean, they go through a process and they work to a talent show or some kind of an audition. So it's good to have like a goal, of course, but in the end, everybody. Oh, what am I trying to say? It is. Yeah, like conservatory, for instance, is also a small part of what you eventually, it all adds up to your whole experience of doing music. So.
Wow, that was a gem. Yeah. I love that.
So and yet I could also perform for just I don't have a large audience at the moment yet, but the people who listen to it, they really they appreciate what I do. They don't compare me to other singers or I think so that's it, actually.
That's the highest compliment right there.
And I mean, I appreciate what I've heard on your Instagram profile, and so I said, wait a minute. Let me hear that again. Okay. And so
thanks so much.
You're welcome. Achik, you got a question?
Yeah. So this is more so for our listeners. If there's a music artist out there that heard the significance of what she said earlier. So Rebekka, what you said about how you could mimic different things, but then you realize what worked for your voice. There are a lot out there that are looking to get recognized. So there is a lot of mimicking going on. And just wanted to know if you have any advice for them on finding their own voice and what works for them.
Ooh. I think, surround yourself with musicians or like-minded people who, because of course you can sit in a room and create, if you play an instrument, create your own song, which is amazing if you can do that. But if you surround yourself with people who are also a bit who don't necessarily do it for fame or for I think it's important to have patience and to really take the time. Like, it's your art. It's not a product for at first. It's your voice and what you want to discover about your own musicality or so I think that's first priority, instead of, because of course social media, YouTube, everything, you become a bit like it's a whole it's a lot of distraction also. So I think it's, if you want to really put something out from yourself, then just don't watch too many of those. No, of course it's good to practice different genres and develop your gift, your talent, your instrument. But I think just surround yourself with like-minded people and create something even if it's small, you know, just a few songs to to have something of your own. It's like, do you want to do it to become famous, or do you want to, you know, put your own art out there? That's
that's
but of course it's well, it's of course it's not bad to do TV shows, or it can bring you, you know, quite really far, but it also makes you a bit dependent on other people's opinion, or what they say is the best, or
that's excellent advice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes.
But of course, sometimes I forgot to. There's, like, for instance, Yeba. You know, you probably know this singer with PJ Morton, and do you know? Yeah, she's amazing. Or Alex Isley, the daughter of Ron Isley, I think.
Yes.
I love these singers. You can hear, like, they're genuinely musicians also, you know, and they also had a long road to travel. They now become slowly more famous, but they will always put out quality. That's what I love. PJ Morton as well, and they're really humble, and really in it for the music. That's what I love.
We'll share. Okay, let's transcend to today, 2021. Okay, what is on the plate this year?
Wow.
Right now, for the one and only Rebekka Ling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, God only knows, right? Because our country is still in a lockdown, and of course, we cannot really travel. Everything is closed here, so we can do live streams, but there's not really venues to do shows there. So hopefully from summer and it will be more open. But the thing is, you can still create a lot. So we'll always produce new music. So there's a new single April 30th. And I was planning to go, like, beginning of this year, to go to Asia, but that is also that is not possible right now. So you have to just see what is still possible, and a lot of online, you know, collaborations is I'm doing that as well. I cannot say too much about that, but so hopefully we can travel later on this year, and then I hope to visit the States. Friends have invited me, but it's a different story right now with the crisis. But besides that, we're putting out new music, and
now right there. Speaking of the new music, okay, as we get ready to start closing down the interview, share with our listeners the element of heart and soul that you put into your new music that you're getting ready to release very shortly.
Right. Yes. So my next single will be "Love We Feel." It is kind of a bit of a broken beat, jazzy vibe. It has to it. And there's a flute player, a female. She's a saxophone player. She plays flute. She does amazing arrangements. It's quite a musical adventure. An amazing guitar player, also a friend of mine, Raphael. So it has kind of a jazzy feel. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. And my last single was "Keep Rising." I hope people will have a listen to that. It's about rising above all the things you see around you, and have that mind state and that hope inside that you can still reach that peace of mind, and that unity. Even now, when everything that's happening in the world, it's important to hold on to that unity and to to the love and hope we have within us. So
I agree.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
So hopefully, yes, I hope everybody has the time to check it out.
That information, profiles and so forth.
Sorry?
Can you please share your internet profiles?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm Rebekka with double K, Ling, Rebekka Ling. And Facebook, you can find my band page, Rebekka Ling Music. My music is on Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. So yeah, go have a look and let me know. Follow me. And thanks for having me once again.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know Breezy's already in agreement, but we hope to have you back again sometime soon.
Definitely. And I hope to sing a song maybe next time with a keyboard player or with a guitar player, if that's possible, or I record something.
We'd love that.
Yes.
Hey, now we want that. We want
that. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to stay in touch. And so you be blessed and take care.
God bless. See you soon. Have a great show. Bye. Bye.
Bye now.
Wow, that was fantastic, man. I mean, I almost wish the show was longer than an hour so we just could have kept chatting with her.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Yes. So, make sure that you do follow her and check her out, all those places that she mentioned, because we'll definitely be having her back, but you don't want to miss out on a single thing she's got coming up.
No, you don't want to miss.
All right, we're going to get back to some more beats by yours truly, and then we'll be back with music industry news right after this.
Okay.
back with music industry news. One of the hot topics that was buzzing around is that Amaze VR has raised $10 million for virtual reality concerts. So, they're one of these companies that's noticing like different trends because, the talk of the industry is, of course, with the pandemic, this was something that you started seeing more and more often. But even as, the world starts to open back up and people do start getting out more, they believe this trend's still going to hang around for a bit. So, you've got the people that were just itching to get back out there. Of course, they're going to be going to live shows or whatever. But then some people found out during the pandemic that being home watching shows was quite nice too. So, they expect it to be a combination of both. So, that's something, as an independent artist, if you're looking at touring and, having these concerts, you might want to do it and also have a way to live stream to reach your fans that might just want to stay at home for whatever reason, or just to be super cautious or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the technical capabilities has just allowed that reach to spread so far, and people are taking advantage of it.
Yes. So, that's one thing that you definitely need to do. Pay attention to trends and see where the people with the big bucks are putting their money. So that lets you know, so that way you won't be behind the game. You can stay on top of it and be ready to move with it, and make the plans that you need to make it work for you.
That's right. I just received one last night from upright bass player Jackie Pickett, and who was brought to us by the one and only Imra Kotan, and she's having a big one this weekend. So send me the invite. Hey, so I get to see her perform.
Yeah, and so see how that works. You do that with some of your fans. Maybe when they have podcasts or radio shows, they'll probably shout you out too. So something to keep in mind. All right. Yeah. Now this one, we've talked about this before. We mentioned about how Spotify, got a patent to be able to kind of monitor users, to be able to offer algorithms specifically for their mood. And so, I remember the first time we shared this story, Breezy, I remember your as soon as I told you the information. And now there are a lot of people echoing your concern that you picked up on right away. So just to make sure that we break down exactly what this is supposed to be covering. So now they can take your voice data with this patent once they get all this, together. And they can search for your emotional state based on your tone, your age, your gender, your accent, and combination of whatever's going on in the background of you. So that way they can get an idea for what you're doing and how you're feeling, so they can recommend music they think you might want to hear. So, yeah. So, of course, that's cause for concern. Some people, that's super into tech, they're like, oh, this is awesome. But, there are a lot of times where you could be listening to music there where you might not want people to be hearing what's going on. They're so, yeah.
Invasion of privacy.
Absolutely. So a couple of groups, Access Now and Fight for the Future, have sent an open letter to Spotify that just kind of outlines some of the big concerns. So one of them is the potential to emotionally manipulate people. So even though they have this information, we don't know necessarily that they're going to do the right thing with it. Of course, most companies are going to operate within their best benefit, not necessarily the users. So that was one of the main concerns they outlined. Another possibility was for gender discrimination, because they may not detect the user properly by voice. So, someone that might have a deeper voice, that might be female, someone that might have a lighter voice might be male or non-binary. So there's a lot of room for discrimination as far as that's concerned. And of course, another concern was the intrusive and invasive monitoring of unaware users. So let's say you don't have this enabled for your Spotify, but maybe you're over a friend's house and theirs isn't enabled. Maybe you don't realize that. Maybe you're saying some stuff that you don't necessarily want Spotify to know. So, that's, one of the third major concerns. And the fourth one that they outlined was the potential for fraud and identity theft for, if the user database is ever hacked, then, that's a lot of information for even Spotify to have. But what if it falls into the wrong hands? So, there's just so much potential for, things to go wrong. And another concern that they expressed was that by doing something like this, it's kind of normalizing invasion of privacy. So, this could just be the tip of the iceberg if this is accepted as commonplace, just for the sake of convenience or discovering quote unquote new music.
See, that goes way back to the 1960s, 1970s, or it might have been 80s. That first movie that came out that was titled 2001, and before the movie was over, computers were getting so sensitive that computers were starting to talk to each other without being asked to talk to each other, and they started taking over. You see, once computers start taking over,
Yikes. Yeah, I imagine around that time that sounded like super futuristic, and then what do you know? It appears like we're living in it today. So yeah, definitely a foreboding telltale sign. But I 100% agree. Living in a world that has a sci-fi feel to it like that all the time, where there's just impending doom and dystopian future. So, we'll see what happens. Spotify dropped a lot of money to, get this technology. And since the patent was approved, I can't really see them stepping away from it without more pushback from the public. But who knows? All right. Once again, about the live music and streaming sector, is a Beats Music veteran decides to kind of alter a website that he had out there before, but this one is called Doors. And so this new service will allow artists to curate and perform online concerts. You'll be able to communicate with fans and manage ticket sales and your royalties all in one stop. So, a lot of these other platforms that allow you to do this, you kind of got to do one for ticket sales, one for another, but this kind of gives you that, all in one inclusive thing. And as we had just mentioned earlier, even as the world opens back up, there will still be some people that would rather do concerts at home. So, this will definitely be something for you to check into if you want to make sure that you can capture, your entire market, to make sure that nobody's getting left out, or anyone that wants to see you perform can still get to see you perform, whether it's in person or online.
How about that?
Yeah. And LL's Rock the Bells raised $8 million. And so they're planning on taking this money to strengthen their executive team. So, more money, more jobs. And they're also planning on bolstering their hip hop content. And so, I'm really excited to see what's going to come of that. So, they're going to be offering more things for e-commerce. So I'm thinking there's going to be a lot more goodies and merch and all that stuff. And, as a classic hip hop lover, I couldn't be more thrilled. He was able to get the patent for his Rock the Bells back. So, the tour was going on and all this. So the concerts have been set up using the name for his song. So he was able to get that back because he's the one that actually established that. And so for him to first have that victory, and then, the wins keep coming in for him, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of happy, I got a happy shout out to rapper Nas for the steps that he went through by making an investment. That word investment came up right before the break, and he invested some of his funds into an up-and-coming business a few years ago, and it blossomed. And it really blossomed. So, and anyone in the entertainment business, that's something you want to take a look at, because you know, but inspect before you expect. Sure, for sure.
Wise words. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Investing. Speaking of which, there's this other company that kind of bolstered it, CTM Outlander Music. So they have put another $1 billion into partnering with this U.S. fund, so that way they could just buy publishing rights and master rights to more popular songs. At this point, every week we've got new stories about this. So it almost makes you wonder, like, what's left for anybody to purchase, but it's still out there and they're still doing it. So they've got $1 billion ready to go into this, but they don't just want to buy it to, have it out there on TV or in movies, sync licensing and all that stuff. They're also looking for rights that allow it to use songs and likeness for holographic performance and for NFTs. So, that's kind of let you know where things are heading. So especially this particular group, the CTM Outlander Music, they acquired over 1,000 songs from a Swedish company. And so far in that catalog, it includes stuff by Rihanna, Shakira, Panic at the Disco, and more. So, they've got some heavy hitters and they're planning on doing some big things. So especially since, NFTs, it's another thing we keep mentioning. It's a news story about that, multiple news stories about that every week. So, there's a lot of investment here in technology and futuristic type stuff. So be on the lookout.
That's right. Go for it.
And this is kind of interesting. TikTok has announced 6 new interactive music effects for creators. So whether you use TikTok yourself or not, you know that there are a lot of people creating stuff on it and they're always looking for music. And independent music actually fares well and much better there. So the fact that they're giving all these different effects to it makes it more likely for more music to get used. So, I believe we've mentioned it here before. If you want to make sure that you can get included on some of the stuff going on, because all it takes is one viral video. Next thing you know, everybody's singing your song, looking you up, Shazamming you, trying to find out what you're doing. So, make sure that you get your music distributed to TikTok too. If you ask me, they're just as important as making sure that your music's on Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal. So, all these social networks should be included in that too. You want to make sure that it's getting distributed to TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere that people could be listening to your music and using clips of it to soundtrack their life. You want to be a part of that. So, especially with this new stuff coming up, everybody's going to be wanting to try it. So they're rolling it out, looks like one by one. So, as each thing becomes available, just make sure that you're there.
Man, TikTok, straight out of nowhere. Boom.
Wow. Blowing up. So, make sure that your music is where people are. And once again, about NFTs. So music labels are making sure that all the NFT sellers are aware that they have the rights to certain music. So if you're going to try to sell it, they need to come to the labels first. And so, that goes the same for any independent artists out there. If you're self-publishing, then there's nothing to worry about. But if you've signed with an independent label and they have the rights to your song, you're going to want to make sure that any NFTs you sell line up with your contract so you can't get in trouble for that later. So just word to the wise as this stuff is booming and you don't want to miss out on it. Just make sure that you're taking the right steps so that way you don't get caught up in anything you don't want to be caught up in. Mm-hmm. All right, and that does it for music industry news for this episode of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We'll be back to close out the night with you in just a few.
Okay.
All right, and that's a wrap for this week's episode. We thank you once again for joining us. You know, we just love having you with us, and you know, we can't wait to do it again next week.
Oh no, you know, it's really wonderful. It's just straight wonderful. So I mean, I'm happy again once more, but it's not me, it's the listeners. And we hope the listeners are really happy.
Yes, so that's what we strive for. We got another great interview coming up for you next week. So yeah, make sure that you keep it locked, and you know, make sure you download the Grander Media app to check out Grander Radio on the go. And you know what? We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.